Welcome back. You're now watching the lifestyle segment on the Weekend Show brought to you by Holofun Popcorn. My name is Andy Madoki.
And I'm Eddie Frank.
How are you, Didi?
I'm good.
What was the highlight of your week?
The grid collapsing
You
over
know what?
and over
That actually
again.
was the most notable story of my week as well.
Yeah.
And for me, it's weird because you know how you never need power supply for anything until it's gone. And then I now realize, even if you have an inverter, maybe you can't use it to microwave food, or you now decide you want to eat, and everything just comes. And I thought about it. In most places, you never have to pray for power supply. It's actually a prayer topic, a prayer point right now. And you can imagine how much it affects businesses across the nation and how we really have to depend on this. And the alternative is buying fuel,
which is skyrocketing every day.
150 naira.
Oh, now it's 1,300.
Let's introduce our guests. We have some guests today who will be having this conversation with us in the studio.
Yeah, we have Honorable Ejike Onyekelu, who is the Director, Contact and Mobilization, AASG and APC. We also have joining us Anthony, who is the DG Atiku Abubakar Initiative. Good morning and thanks for joining us.
Morning. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you.
Anthony, you know we wouldn't have this conversation without talking about who you really are and your transition from different phases of life, which I find extremely interesting.
Thank you.
From Big Brother, and even before Big Brother, you are already a brilliant performer in a space which I really love in Nigeria, which is the creative economy and which also falls into tourism. So you've been able to make your mark in different spaces, and now you are now focusing on the people and ensuring that we make the right choices.
Exactly.
So it's a quick segue, but tell us briefly about your transitions.
Okay, so I've always been, well, first of all, thank you. I'm very humble. I find it very interesting to, and even in my journey in the art world, to know that everything actually for me boils down around humanity. So it was easy for me to implement certain elements that I believe that I have, regenerate them, and get involved in these spaces that you mentioned. I think the person who says jack of all trades, master of none, he was really drunk at that time, but I've been able to have like a sustainable stand and know that this is the area that I want to. At the time, it's really very important, is needed at this time to do that. Entertainment, yes, is good, but the people matters.
Elections have consequences, and we've seen that in Nigeria, we've seen that in the United States in recent times, and we've seen that also in the United Kingdom. Power supply has been a constant topic since independence. Do you think this is a technical solution which we want for this, or is this a political problem?
To be honest, I don't stand on any, but I want to believe it's both. There are simple or better ways that things can be implemented for us not to experience this. Because I think, honestly, it's a shameful thing for us to experience it, especially over the weekend. Within the space of January to September 2010 to 2022, we've experienced 222 of this power failure of power grid, and just only experiencing this now in 2024. I'm very adamant that this is going to happen at that extra 5. Like they're helping us to remind us that, Christmas is coming. So the light just keeps going this way, but, I don't want to completely say it's political. I want to believe that it's personal, or because who else would be doing this? It's obviously an inside job. That's my honest take.
Interesting you said, 222, because in the past year, we have, I'm sure 22 of that alone we've gotten in the past year. Yeah, because since this minister, the president Minister of Power has been in, we've had this consistent, blackout and the grid failing. And the only reason they give us is technical issues. We actually don't know what the problem is. But where does leadership accountability come in? Should we hold the minister, responsible for this continuous grid fail?
Yeah, thank you very much. I will completely disagree with that. We will not hold the minister accountability for this. Follow me gradually. See, the persistent Nigerian grid collapse are primarily due to looks rejection by the electricity distribution company, DISCO. Get me right. Despite the significant infrastructure upgrade, DISCO continue to struggle with the capacity transmitted by the transmission company of Nigeria. Now, transmission company of Nigeria, over time, if you look at it, has been boosted through the Siemens project and internal upgrade, now reaching an installed capacity of over 8,100 megawatts, which is capable of distributing 6,000 megawatts. Understand that. Now, when we look at that, you agree with me that Nigeria, for our Nigeria power generation has been increased over the year with the addition of 700 megawatts. That's why I say follow me. So you know where I'm faulting DISCO in this. Then, if we bring Zungeru hydroelectric plant, bringing the Nigerian or national grid total installed capacity of 13,610 megawatts. DISCO, let me say the country at about 11 DISCO collectively operate at an active distribution of only around 4,000 megawatts, thereby creating a significant gaps in the power distribution network.
Honorable, one of the things we try to do on this show is to make sure that the average Nigerian understands what we're saying. I'm sure you've lost some people in the studio here right now.
Okay.
I'll paint, and this is what she is asking. There's leadership, there's the minister. They've increased tariffs. They've invested in infrastructure, which they have said.
Yes.
They've followed the instructions of the international donor agencies that have said cut off subsidies to electricity and fuel. And now Nigerians are saying it's gone high. We've dealt with it. Now it's crashing every day. You have now come to say that DISCOs can't handle it. The average Nigerian doesn't care about that. Who should take responsibility for this and what should be done?
Yes, just like you rightly said, the average Nigerian may not care about this. Good and fine. But aside that, we should be able to understand the genesis of this whole thing. If you ask DISCO will tell you that the reason behind this issue is the limited cost recovery. Okay? They'll tell you there is limited cost recovery which has hindered them from investing to critical upgrades. Alright? Which has hindered them from investing into critical upgrades. Now, maybe they will tell you due to their system fragility or so forth and so on. Understand that. Yes, when you talk about, that is where that increase, if you're talking about, comes in. Because they were complaining the limited cost of recovery. Okay? Okay, since the government says, if this is the problem, let's increase the tariff. So that you will not be complaining. Aside the government doing that, the government still invested over $800 million, if I'm not mistaken, for the same purpose. Now, how do we now bring government? Is it not the same government that bring about PMI, that Presidential Metering Initiative? We know what that one is doing. They were talking about the same cost reflective tariff, to some certain customer categories. So is that. So when you look at all those things, the government is doing their best to bring about stability of power in the country. So that is it, if you ask me. So because if you allow me to bring down this whole thing, I will tell us where, even at where disco has come to fault and all of those things, and Nigeria still doing, the government is doing their best.
Anthony,
Yes.
Honorable has said that the government, they're doing their best.
Exactly.
But the truth is, at the age when Nigeria is over 60, if we're counting from independence, and a grown adult at that age should get themselves together at that point.
I agree.
It's been so many years. We keep talking about power over and over and over again. And yet there isn't anyone to hold accountable for this. Every time there's a new, government in power, there's a minister of power, nothing changes. We keep having the same issues. And right now, with the increase in tariff, it's like, where do we go from here? Particularly with the poverty that we're experiencing as a country. So do you actually agree with him?
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to come in as a layman point of view.
Okay.
So the average Nigerian can actually understand, because at some point I was confused. I'm not going to lie. They say, well, according to the show, it's life and it's style. We always have to look at places where we can take examples from. I mentioned 3 countries that has faced this. They say never judge a book by its cover. So Spain is one of them, Colombia and Chile. In 2020, Spain got the smart grid for themselves. And it looks like a country that's already vast, already advanced, but they were experiencing this. Colombia actually invested 1.5 billion into, smart grid, and it has improved their lifestyle. Now we have 3 major places around the world who has done that and is efficient. Germany, then the state of California, and what's the last state? But this is evidence that it works. All we have to do, there's a major thing that I do not feel like we have really gotten into the nitty-gritty of, is getting public private collaborations. We need collaborations with these set of persons who are already advanced, and already experienced this. So it's not like they came from outer space. They have gone through this phase before. They know where it is. 2 things that they will give to us is investors and expertise. They will bring in those set of persons. We will be able to move from where we are and get into the smart grid. That gives us heads advance if there was going to be a collapse. This technology helps us to know, it is programmed to say, okay, it switches. Now, there's another thing that is more interesting. Most people do not know that you don't use salt water to generate energy. You have to use fresh water. But we are more interested in salt water, and there are lots of boreholes being done in Nigeria that the percentage of that has gone to 5%. So we are only more focused on water energy. Have you been to the north? Let me come pidgin. This sun is crazy. It don't wipe me where. Do you understand? We can go into that. A lot of people use solar. I've seen also here in the station. We could do solar energy. We could do wind energy. And we could also do the surface energy, which automatically switches. So ahead of time, before we even have a collapse, it will switch. And if it doesn't do that ahead of time, it gives us a notification that we can do that manually. But we seem to be more concentrated on one side. And TCN has said that, part of one of the reasons why we keep, getting these experiences is because of theft, vandalism, and the rest. But how long are they going to do this investigation for? Get the real people to come in. Get ready to get the experts to help us, because we do need help. For example, I don't know if I'm allowed to mention it, Guinness left Nigeria, they're in Ghana, because they cannot sustain, and then they bring back the product here for us to buy at a heavy price. I'm not saying I'm a drinker, I'm just saying, but we need to understand that we are losing, and then it is us, the masses, that are paying. I'm sure I'm speaking the minds of every Nigerian. And you mentioned at 1,003. In my area is 1,500. Because now everybody sells at a certain price. And it's an avenue for them to extort and make money out of the very Nigerian that doesn't have. So when we talk about the watts and this, we don't get that. If we keep talking about the same issue all the time and we don't implement solution, then we will still have another minister of power, and this is going to go down the way it is.
With these solutions you've proposed,
Yes.
you know, citing examples from other countries, do you actually think our leaders do not know what to do? Because they are smart people we have there. Or could there be political actors at play in ensuring we do not have constant power supply?
I strongly start at the point that, you know, it's an inside job. Most people don't even know this part of what I just said today. You know, we're more concentrated on this. This is what we're comfortable with. We do not want to. So I also do not want to believe, because honestly, we don't have another country. This is the only country we have. And, if we say it's political, then maybe personally I'm going to be a little bit biased, but which I'm not, you know. So, just do the right thing.
You know, I find it quite interesting because about 10 days ago, 17 states in northern Nigeria was disconnected. They were cut off from power supply.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons which I heard was it took a while to fix it because bandits were threatening them and stopping them from doing the work. But you said something which is in my line of thought. The current Minister for Power, he used to be Deputy Governor at the CBN, and so he should understand these public-private partnerships. We have the FIRS doing this with big corporations where you get tax rebates for fixing roads. I would have expected him to create a scheme of sorts where the big conglomerates and the multinationals can help support the power sector and get maybe tax rebates and the likes. Because each time we have power issues, the minister is going to ask government, we need XYZ billion. The government is saying we need to put it on the people. At what point are they going out of their way to think about other innovative solutions? Like these partnerships which you've spoken about, even with this countries. A couple of years ago, Germany was offering to pay people to use more power because they had excess.
Yes.
And coming back to Nigeria, this is why we say leadership matters. I remember in one of the previous administrations, a minister of power was removed because of corruption. Till today, we don't know if there's been any prosecution. We've had this money in billions, but it comes back to the average Nigerian. So what solutions do you have to offer for the average Nigerian? Just how he has proposed several options.
Yes. Just like the option he said, you know, my sister made a comment here that I don't think that those that are in power, they are insensitive. I don't think they are daft. They must have been aware of all this. But I want to make one thing clear to us here, that this, I won't talk about the past governments. I won't talk about
the past government is your power. It's your party.
I mean,
it's still your party.
Let me.
So that's why you won't talk about them.
It might still be my party, but different style of leadership. Okay? Yes. I'm coming.
When you say different style, I'm sorry, but I have to cut you short because when we see some of the facts with this new style which you're talking about, from the value in the naira, floating the naira to fill, sardine is now 1,500 naira, and this pains me so much because there are some people who will never eat sardine anymore because it's so expensive and they'll have five. Titus, that's the name of the brand. Titus is now 1.5. And so when you say it's a different system or whatever, personally, I'm not saying the average Nigerian. For me, I don't see how much better it's been. I see how much worse it's getting.
You see, just like that's your prerogative and you're entitled to it. No question about that. But I'm still, like, you know, most of my sister, I don't sit here as a partisan. I sit as an statement. And I represent the interests of the people. You see, the 3 P's does not count. Because the interest of the people is what matters. What I mean by the 3 P's, personal interest, political interest, and party interest. No, I didn't put it ahead. No. The people interest is what matters most to me. And this time I'm speaking out of the fact and out of evaluation for things that I've taken my time to look into, because all of us must not come blind eyed for what is happening in this country. But coming to what you say, the solution. Just like I said, this government, they are determined in bringing stability, power stability to this country. And I'm very certain of that. The only thing we could be discussing here is how is this thing going to be possible? How long will it take? Do you understand? And this is exactly, but you know, it will take us a little bit time to navigate through all of those things. Because since over time, just like you have said, this national grid has been having this problem. They must find a lasting solution to this. And it can't just come like a switch. It can't just come. That is why the government decided, okay, just like what he said, we don't know the actual reason why they invested $800 million. Okay, but I understand that this $800 million was focused on distribution of substations and the distribution capacity. I think that is what was focused on. And if that is done in this way we are looking at it now, it might possibly about bringing an expert that's going to help us out in all of this. Because no, everybody flan at this situation. I also flan. Despite if you think you have an alternative, the alternative cannot give you the adequate satisfaction that electricity will give to you because of the major loads and everything. And we losing people, we're losing a mega investment because of power epileptic situation in this country is something to be completely frowned at.
Gentlemen, so unfortunately because of time, I would have to give you 30 seconds so he could also have his 30 seconds for his closing. So,
all right. Now this is it. I want to appeal to Nigerians, and I keep saying that. Please, let's be patient because at least something has started. Government have started putting an effort for them to add with the situation, with the happenings. They still can invest so much on power sector. That means they're interested in bringing stability, the power stability into this country. So we are looking at, instead of us castigating the government, let us already around the government and see what we can achieve. For now, it is too early to conclude. I'm talking about the present administration. It's too early to conclude in their capacity of bringing stability of power supply to the
thank you very much.
Country.
Anthony, your final words?
Okay, so final words probably would be, I still do not understand why we have to spend $800 million when a state like, or a country like Colombia spent $1.5 million one time and they're stable. So I wouldn't want to know what the budget was like, years before. We have spoken about styles of, but that's a topic for another day. I would say, listen to what I've said, look into it, get people who are more interested or who are in love with the country to help improve this. And with this that is going on, that's what has forced the initiative, or where I'm coming from, the Atiku Abubakar initiative, to now do extra more now for the people and do things that was not part of our project. Now we have to implement new projects because we want to help certain persons to do, or achieve certain things. So I guess we care for them. They should care back for the country.
Yes, man. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
One thing which stands out is the fact that we all want the best for Nigeria and the people, and it's extremely important. And I must also commend the fact that metering has improved significantly in Nigeria. Power supply also in places like Abuja, we've had times where we've had significant improvement. Maybe because of the rainy season, we'll find out the dry season, but when they deserve kudos, they will get it. However, you need to reduce the burden on the people. With everything going so high, any little relief you can give the people, we'll prefer it to rise. Enough with the rise. That's the much we're going to take on the lifestyle segment. Up next, we'll be having sports with Abraham. Talking about sports, I was quite excited because I'm a Chelsea fan and they all know that this year. And Chelsea scored 8 goals this week. It doesn't matter what the name of the team is or who they were. My team had 8-0. And that was interesting. Also in basketball, seeing what the Cleveland Cavaliers are doing. 10-0. They've won 10 straight games. And so it's an interesting year for sports. Don't go away. We'll see you after this break.